Hello everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar. I am Mariko Matsuzaki from Life Science Department, and the topic of my presentation is Making the Best Out of Computer-Mediated Communication for Educators' Collaborative Learning. This research is part of a joint project by the Royal Military Academy and KU Leuven. Together we aim to explore how educators can effectively use computer-mediated communication to enhance their collaborative learning experiences. So let's dive into the key findings from this study. To begin, let's look at the context. The military sector in Europe faces significant challenges, such as an aging population and a declining workforce. Large number retirement is a concern for many organizations, and transferring their knowledge effectively within the organization remains a critical issue. In an ideal scenario, knowledge and best practices should be widely shared across teams and organizations. However, the reality is far more fragmented. Teams, educators, and training centers are geographically dispersed, often operating in silos. This raises an important question. Are these organizational boundaries isolating critical knowledge and expertise? What can we do to ensure these valuable knowledge assets are shared effectively across the organization? Where should we be heading? The ideal goal is to create a learning organization as defined by Sanger in 1990. Learning organization is where employees' potential is fully optimized through mutual learning, with knowledge and best practices shared across units. In this context, the role of educators becomes crucial. In defense, educators such as trainers, instructors, coaches hold critical role to develop personnel across various levels. The society is largely becoming complex, so we need to adopt new techniques, tactics, and mindset to be competitive. Educators are also required to constantly update their pedagogical knowledge and instructions to address challenges in rapidly changing society. How can we ensure that their pedagogical knowledge and expertise are effectively exchanged and become a learning organization? Our research interest is making use of computer-mediated communication, CMC, which is several sorts of digital tool. We are interested in making use of CMCs to foster knowledge exchange and collaborative learning network of defense educators. Before delving into details, I would like to clarify some key definitions. First is educators. These are individuals responsible for learners' professional development by teaching, imparting information, knowledge, and skills in professional settings. In the military context, educators include trainers, instructors, coaches, professors, and others. Second is collaborative learning. This refers to professional development achieved through collaboration and knowledge sharing among individuals with diverse backgrounds or perspectives. Third is computer-mediated communication, CMC. This is the transmission of meaning between two or more people via digital technologies using text, audio, or video. Examples of CMC include emails, instant messaging, social media platforms, website, and more. Our key research question was, how can educators effectively use CMC tools to enhance their collaborative learning? We wanted to know what was already known. To address this question and synthesize existing findings, we conducted a systematic literature review examining the topic across various domains without limiting the findings to military studies. We conducted this systematic literature review using 4 academic databases, focusing on studies published in English from 1995 onwards, looking into what scientists found out in the last 30 years. The review included only peer-reviewed empirical studies. In this process, we specifically examined how educators spontaneously and self-initiated use of CMC tools for collaborative learning with others, rather than the top-down approach of forced settings. Our goal was to understand the mechanism that fosters self-initiated collaboration. In the systematic review, we focused on 3 main objectives. First is the characteristics of CMC tools examined in existing research. Second, the content of learning exchanged by educators using CMC tools for collaborative learning. Third is supporting conditions and obstacles for using CMC tools. Our initial search resulted in 17 1,547 articles. Then we screen titles and abstracts, reducing the pool to 460 studies for full text review. Ultimately, 107 studies met our inclusion criteria and we analyzed in depth. Here we present the list of CMC tools explored for educators' self-initiated collaborative learning. A large proportion of the studies analyzed social media platform, with Twitter being the most frequently studied tool, which is 54% of the social media related studies. Twitter, now known as X, has gained significant interest from researchers as it is often used for knowledge exchange among educators. Let's now look at our results more in depth. First, we will see the characteristics of CMC tools. First, we look at the characteristics from users' perspective. Who sends the messages and who receives them? Whether the tools used are open or closed, anonymous or using real name. In this diagram, we've mapped CMCs based on the relationship between senders and receivers. Who sends the messages and who receives them? On the vertical axis, we show the sender type, whether it's communication from one individual or from many. On the horizontal axis, we presented the receiver type, whether the message is directed to one individual or to many. Platforms that are largely anonymous tend to fall into the many-to-many category, especially located here on the diagram. Within the area surrounded by the blue dotted line, we see communication channels that lean more towards many-to-many or few-to-few interactions, but with a certain limitations on the number of participants. These tools have drawn significant attentions from researchers. These categories often allow for some degree of user identification. This distinction makes them particularly relevant for fostering collaboration while maintaining a balance between openness and security. This slide illustrates the varying degrees of openness in CMC tools. Here we have 4 categories. First, open to anyone, and second, open but require registration. Third, membership given on approval by administrator, and fourth, closed membership not necessarily visible from public. Open tools such as public social media platforms or forums provide opportunities for widespread sharing and accessibility. Interactions in these environments are often highly dynamic, with a large volume of information being exchanged and rapid communication speeds. While these tools are excellent for reaching broader audiences, the interactions may lack depth and consistency. On the other hand, we have closed tools such as private WhatsApp groups or restricted social media groups that require membership approval and are not visible to the general public. These closed environments offer a more secure and focused space for in-depth discussions and collaboration. These distinctions are particularly significant because they demonstrate how the degree of openness directly influences the quality and outcomes of collaborative learning. Selecting the right levels of openness based on the intended purpose and audience is critical for maximizing the effectiveness of CMC tools. As for the CMC environment, our findings highlight the critical importance of moderators in facilitating effective collaboration and communication. Many studies suggest that moderators play a central role in shaping the quality of interactions within these environments. Moderators can guide discussions, ensure that conversations remain focused, and address any conflicts or misunderstandings that may arise. In open environments such as public social media groups, moderators help manage the flow of information and filter out irrelevant or disruptive content. In closed environments, moderators often foster a sense of trust and encourage deeper engagement by creating a structured and secure space for collaboration. As for collaborative learning behavior, we have categorized the learning behavior into 4 groups. First is seeking and lurking. Second is asking for aid and commenting. Third is sharing. And fourth is co-creating. Let's break down the 4 categories of collaborative learning behaviors in CMC environments. First, seeking and lurking. This group typically represents the largest proportion of the participants. These individuals observe discussions and gather information without actively contributing. While this may seem like a passive participation, it plays a vital role in learning as individuals familiarize themselves with the community's dynamics, content, and norms. And second is asking for aid and commenting. This behavior is more interactive, involving individuals seeking assistance, clarification, or feedback on specific issues. Commenting fosters dialogue and promotes initial exchanges of ideas, building the foundation for deeper engagement. And third is sharing. Participants in this category actively share resources, insights, or personal experiences with others. This strengthens the group's collective knowledge base and facilitates mutual learning. And fourth is co-creating. The most collaborative and advanced behavior, co-creating, involves participants working together to produce new knowledge, solutions, or materials. Scholars often describe these behaviors using the 90-9-1 rule. According to this framework, 90% of the participants are observers, primarily engaged in seeking and lurking, and 9% interact with others by commenting, asking for aid, or sharing resources. And only 1% are highly active contributors, co-creating content or driving discussions. Interestingly, the findings from our systematic review align closely with this 90-9-1 rule, emphasizing that most participants in CMC environments tend to observe rather than actively engage. Recognizing these behavioral patterns is crucial for designing strategies to encourage greater participation and collaboration. To summarize the characteristics of CMCs for collaborative learning, the green category represents many-to-many channels, which are often selected for light, open collaboration. These tools are highly dynamic, providing rich and diverse information at a fast pace. However, this same dynamic nature can overwhelm some users, making it difficult to maintain focus or extract the most relevant insights. The blue category includes few-to-few or one-to-one channels, which are typically chosen for in-depth and more intense collaboration. These spaces are often closed, creating a personalized and secure environment for selected members. Such settings foster trust and encourage deeper engagement and collaboration. It is important to note that many of these closed groups are not visible for the general public. When educators meet and wish to collaborate more deeply, they tend to move from many to many to more private, close communication in this blue area. This means that if you want to participate in deep collaborative learning opportunities, you may need to be invited or selected by other members. This selectiveness highlights the importance of being proactive and to stand out from the large population to gain access to such valuable learning environments here. Now let's move on to the next focus. What do educators actually learn from each other through CMC tools? Our review identified 2 main categories: internal and external. Content related to educators' internal learning, which represents content for personal level, and learning for external factors, which often address students and learners or organizations in society. For learning, content is listed here, but I've highlighted some key contents in yellow. For internal personal level learning, educators often share topics on their emotions and experience through storytelling or get inspiration from others on how they felt or experienced. For external aspects, educators exchange knowledge on teaching methods, practice, teaching material, and for the latest knowledge. And sometimes they exchange information on events to enhance their skills. For a larger group, they exchange knowledge on how each organization operates and what policies they have. Let's now explore the supporting conditions and obstacles that influence the effective use of CMC tools. This slide presents the supporting conditions and hindering factors for using CMC tools, grouped into 3 levels. First is a micro level, concerning the personal level, and second is a meso level, which relates to group influences, and third is a macro level, representing the organizational societal impact. First, let me highlight the supporting conditions marked in yellow. Feeling safe to use CMC tools is a critical factor for effective collaboration. Selecting the right CMC tools tailored to participant-specific needs also enhances engagement. Having a skilled moderator to guide discussions and an environment that encourages critical and reflective dialogues are also essential. On the macro level, organizational climate and leadership that actively support CMC usage play an important role in fostering collaboration and learning. Now, let's move on to the hindering factors. Privacy concerns are frequently mentioned as a significant barrier, preventing educators from openly sharing their thoughts and learning from others through CMCs. Educators' low self-esteem, low self-efficacy, and low confidence can hinder their active participation, leaving them in a passive role. On the meso level, while CMCs facilitate connections with like-minded individuals, these dialogues can sometimes remain to silos because they are not exposed to diverse ideas and remain in their comfort zone. Although connecting to like-minded people can deepen understanding, there must be a balance to ensure that conversation and knowledge exchange remain diverse and incorporate constructive, critical perspectives. Understanding these factors is key to creating an environment where educators can maximize the benefits of CMC tools for collaborative learning. To wrap up, let me summarize the key takeaways from our research. First, CMC is more than just a digital tool. It reflects the society beyond the communication tool itself. Each CMC group is unique. The way how educators collaborate and share knowledge differs per group. When you're using CMC tools, it means you're not just using a tool, but actually encountering a society and people there. This society is unique in the way of who they are, how they're exchanging knowledge and information, amount of information, speed, etc. Second, the effectiveness of CMCs largely depend on how well they match educators' needs. For instance, some educators may prefer to use CMCs for passive information gathering, such as observing and seeking resources. Others may look for tools that enable them for more in-depth collaboration, such as co-developing innovative curricula. This means that users need to be aware of their needs, and the choice of CMC tools and the way they are utilized must reflect the specific goals and preferences of the users. And third, in-depth, high-degree collaboration often takes place in closed or private channels. These channels are not easily accessible to those who are not invited, making them inherently selective. Educators seeking deeper collaboration must proactively engage, network, and stand out to gain access to such exclusive opportunities. In conclusion, a critical factor for maximizing the benefits of CMCs is self-reflection on individual needs. Educators must identify what they hope to achieve from these tools and tailor their engagement accordingly. As CMC-based learning becomes increasingly personalized, it is important to recognize that what works for one person may not work for another. Being intentional and strategic in selecting and using CMC tools is essential for achieving meaningful outcomes. Thank you for joining this webinar. I hope you liked it and it would help you utilize CMC tools for your learning in the future. Thank you very much.